Ladies and gents, good evening. In March of this year, 2020, the UK and pretty much the whole world went into lockdown due to COVID-19. And unfortunately, that pretty much put on hold or pressed a huge pause button on not only the aviation industry, but also industries from across the globe and aviation industries, not only in Europe and the UK, but also in the Americas as well. At that point in time, there was a pilot shortage. That is not the case now. But let's have a look 5 months on now. We're sitting in August of 2020. I can tell you we're back flying again. I myself was just in Alicante this morning, servicing passengers from East Midlands, and we took 120 passengers down and brought home over 150 passengers. There is going to be a very good progress in terms of how quick the aviation industry can manage with the COVID-19. It is becoming a new norm. People are understanding how to travel and the precautions that they need to take in place now as well, which is fantastic. And this brings me on to the point of the recovery period. And it's important to note what the recovery period would be of a world pandemic. We're looking at about 2 years from now to a full recovery of the aviation industry. And those points have been backed up recently as well by the CEO of Boeing, the CEO of Delta, and also Wizz Airlines, which are actually currently, Wizz Air are actually currently recruiting pilots and actually growing its network during this pandemic as well, which is, crazy to even witness. And that puts me on to the important point of you want to listen to what I'm about to say over the next 40 to 50 minutes, because in 2 years' time, the industry is going to be back to where it was before. And in 2 years' time, you could potentially be walking out of the Fly Pro Pilot program or any airline program across the world as a professional pilot looking for your first job. So it's very relevant, and I look forward to guiding you through this evening's webinar. My name is Jonathan Weston. I am a professional pilot for Ryanair on the 737. I'm also a Fly Pro Pilot graduate, and I also work for Fly as a UK training advisor as well. Excuse me 1 second. There we go. So this evening I'm going to be walking you through these agenda points that you can see in front of you. And these were all the things Okay, perfect. Sorry, I was just doing an audio check with my team there, and they're saying everything is grand. So we'll carry on. So yeah, thank you all for joining me this evening. And these are the agenda points we'll be walking through. So, and these were the points that I was looking at when I was looking at a professional pilot's license. And it really is an absolute minefield out there in terms of different courses. The way each company trains their pilots seems to be completely different from the rest. There's also a world of acronyms and different mottos for different things as well. So yeah, absolutely fantastic that you're on this evening. It's going to put you a foot ahead, and I hope to really guide you and help you and educate you this evening in the next 40 minutes on, why you want to get into this industry, how you get there, and the steps to get there as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's press on anyway. In terms of questions and answers, by the way, I will say there's a questions option at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a mobile device, there'll be an option on a select down menu as well to type any questions to me. At the end of the webinar, I will be furnishing a lot of those questions, or as many as I possibly can, with you. And if I don't get your questions, I do apologize, but I'll have all my details on here at the end. You can call me, text me, email me, whatever it might be of your questions. Okay. But let's start with the most obvious point and one to be looking into within this industry is, why do you want to become an airline pilot? And everyone's motivations are different. I can only speak for myself. For me, it was brought through a love of travel. I wanted to travel the world. I wasn't happy in the job that I was doing. At that point in time, I was actually a regional sales manager at the time, traveling around the UK, working 6 days a week. Now my lifestyle is I work a 5-4 roster, so I only work 5 days, always get 4 days off. Lots of holiday throughout the year and loads of holiday perks as well. So that was a huge instinction for me to get into a career as an airline pilot. But for you, you might just have always dreamed of it. Okay, maybe it's something since you were a child, that's all you've ever wanted to do. Maybe it's the fact that you just want to fly a jet for a living. You know, I still have to pinch myself when I roll onto the runway at East Midlands and can press toga on the auto throttle of my 737 and take off to that destination that morning or that evening. So yeah, it's a fantastic, very fulfilling career. It's also a career full of challenges as well. So if you're always looking for something to challenge you, and I know that's a big thing now, especially with office jobs and whatever it might be, the necessity to feel challenged as an individual. And all these things will be brought to you with a career within aviation. So time off's a big one. I don't like to bang on too much about salaries, but it is important to note, you know, it's an expensive industry to get into. But the end salaries are there, especially when you get in the left-hand seat as a captain, you know, well over six-figure salaries for those sorts of jobs. So that's also a big thing to note. And yeah, think about sitting there at home, think about, okay, yeah, I've thought about being an airline pilot. What are the real motivations for doing it? Hopefully it's not financial. Hopefully it is born and bred within you. And it's something that you look up into the sky or you see a pilot walking through the airport on your holidays and you think, yeah, I just really want to be that person at the front of that jet. Very few people get to do what we get to do. I feel very lucky on a daily basis that I get to flex the career as an airline pilot. So it's very special and something that is completely distinctive to you guys. And as I said before, this was actually a forecast given by Boeing on the worldwide pilot demand just before the COVID-19 pandemic actually finished. So within Europe, as you can see there was over 148,000 over the next 6 years required in terms of pilot demand. Okay, so there was a huge demand. As I said before, no demand at the moment, you know, absolutely none whatsoever, unless you're a Wizz Air pilot, for example. Okay, but in 2 years' time, right now we're actually working within the airline industry about a 60% capacity in terms of actual aircraft flying. This should increase to about 80% next year, and then back to 100% in capacity in the summer of 2022. So if you're looking to start with us, maybe as soon as the end of this year, maybe you're looking to get your licenses sometime next year, you'd absolutely be finishing right at the right time, a real prime time, really, of when we're looking for the industry to be back up to full swing. And you'll be surprised how quick the aviation industry actually can recover. We've already seen this post 9/11, and we've already seen this post financial crash of 2008 as well. So yes, it is a very volatile industry to be part of, but with that and with the necessity of travel, you know, people love traveling. It was only the other day, me and the girlfriend were looking to just get away. We just want to get away from the UK this year at some time. When can we do that? What air bridges are open? Let's go away. And I'm sure there's plenty of you sat on this call that feel the same way. And that's exactly what we need in the industry to bring it back to the capacity that was as of that in March 2020. But go back, do a little bit of research yourself. Definitely look at the interviews that were given by the CEOs of Delta. That was a very interesting one. That was also on the Forbes website as well. Wizz Air was a very interesting one, as well as the Boeing CEO as well. So look at those three, type those into YouTube, whatever it might be, do a little bit of research. Don't just take my word on it that it will be great in 2 years. But yeah, we use industry experts like those to really try and take the best course of judgment that we can from. And I'd absolutely recommend that you do your research yourself as well. And once you've got that pilot's license, think about the variety of different jobs that you can have as well. Some people like long haul, so Virgin Atlantic, British Airways, there would be your legacy or full flight service carriers. Delta Airlines would be part of those, American Airlines, whatever it might be, as well as KLM as well. If you fancy a shorter haul lifestyle, that's what I'm involved with now with Ryanair. So it'd be short hops, more of a point-to-point route network, and lots of time off and back in your own bed at night for a lot of those occasions as well. Ryanair, Jet2, EasyJet is where a lot of our graduates work for in the UK at its current capacity. And as I mentioned before, I touched on in the first section was pilot salaries. It's not really something I use as a motivation to get into a career as an airline pilot. more as a proof of, look, we understand it's a very expensive industry to get into, but even at a basic range, the pay is absolutely fantastic, and your return of investment is very good based on that as well. And that is just something nice to know when you are spending this sort of money for a professional career. So those are some of the aspects of why you might want to become an airline pilot. As I said before, it's really personal. It's a really personal thing to you. And it might not be that childhood dream. For me, it wasn't that childhood dream. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be everything before I wanted to be a pilot. It was actually the fact when I started to do a private pilot's license, I fell in love with it and then realized that I wanted a career in it. So it might come slightly later in life for you. And we see a magnitude of different age ranges join us on the Pro Pilot program, spanning from people who have literally just left school, 18 years old, want to do a professional license, and those that can afford to do it later in life, maybe late 30s, even early 40s, come and do professional licenses with us as well. So a truly unique industry in terms of the variety of ages you can actually start your career. And those routes do differ as well. So the route that I'll be talking you through this evening is what we call the full-time route. Also, a lot of people call that an integrated training program as well. So that's a full course of training from start to finish. And we tend to find this is the most attractive to the airlines, the full-time route, okay? And that's because you stay on it from start to finish. Your progression is nice and steady all the way through. And a lot of aviation is actual flying currency. And what we find is your ability to learn, your ability to learn from your mistakes and progress through the course of training is a lot quicker and a lot easier when you stay in a full-time course of training. Now, if that really doesn't suit you and you perhaps want to pay to fly, so pay per module, then that's where the modular route comes into. And it might be that you can't afford anything more than a PPL to start with. That's fine. So we can actually design a training program for you from start to finish with the individual cost per module for you. Now, the thing with that is it's fantastic if you don't quite have the lump sum of money to be able to pay for a full-time course. So it allows you to work and then fly, for example. The issue with this is your learning abilities tend to peak and trough quite a lot. And also, it will take you at least 3 to 4 years probably to complete a full-time course of training on a modular route, which is slightly less attractive to the airlines now. They like to see you complete training really within that sort of 2-year barrier is what they're looking for, okay? And then the other route, which is something that we don't cater for, but you may have looked into, is the military route. And obviously the only really full sponsored training that you can find out there at the moment. Now, the issue with this is, number one, is the military lifestyle for you? It's a very different lifestyle compared to a commercial pilot's lifestyle, of course. And number two is the waiting time on these programs. I think recently it's at least 6 to 7 years to actually get into a fast jet job. And even then, you still may not actually get that opportunity in 6 to 7 years. That is just purely the waiting list for that opportunity. So yeah, and it's an interesting one to think about. The military route, again, it's a very personal choice. But 2Fly Pro Pilot and the Airline Pilot program that we offer is a full-time course of training and the most attractive course of training out there to airlines worldwide. So that's the one I'm going to be guiding you through this evening. And this tends to be, as I mentioned before, we can break down the training for you in modules, and this tends to be the general flow chart. I won't go over this in too much detail, but we do have sections on our website that you can visit on our modular training route. So those are the different routes you may consider becoming an airline pilot. As I mentioned before, the most attractive is the full-time, but maybe a modular is the way to go in terms of your budget, your time, your schedule. And we understand everyone is different. That's why myself and Sheldon are here in the UK as your advisors, and we're here to advise you on the best course of training suited to your personal needs as well. But let me give you a backdrop of who we are. We are a truly global organization. We have flight schools not only in America, but we also have a flight school in the south of Spain. It's a brand new facility that I'm going to share with you in a little bit that has just been built down there in Vélez, Malaga. We also have the Istituto Nobile in Italy, which is an aviation college based in Rome, whereby students as of GCSE age can filter into aviation-specific college studies and then into a full-time course of professional pilot training as well. We also own an airline as well as an FBO in America called Buzz Airlines. We also own 2 Citation private jets, which you'll get the opportunity to fly on this course of training as well. We also have a office at East Midlands Airport. That is also our assessment centre here in the UK. So if you do decide to come and see us for an assessment, you'll be required to come and see us at that facility at the airport. We also have sales and marketing offices in Portugal as well. We own all of our aircraft. We have over $1 million on our balance sheet. We're actually also part owned by a New York hedge fund as well, and we're actively expanding the business. So yeah, an amazing, truly global institute. We've been doing this over 30 years now, especially in the American school as well. It's been established a long time in Florida, and really majority of training will be based in Florida because we're geared up for all your professional pilot training needs in that location. So let's get into it, shall we? And thank you all for joining. I'm just going to do a little summary here. I can see some questions coming through now. So yeah, keep the questions coming for the end of the session. So thank you to those people, Moses, Joel, all coming in with questions as well. And we've got over 40 people on this webinar currently. So absolutely fantastic. Thanks for joining. So yes, the Pro Pilot Program. Some of you may have already done your research. Maybe this is what you're seeing for the first time. Okay. But it's based over 2 phases. All right. It's 14 months total, and pretty much the bulk of your training, as you can see there, is going to be based in America, with the EASA or the European certification, the finish off conversion course is essentially done at the fat end of the program in Vélez, Malaga. So let's get into it. This is just a broad overview. And now I'm going to break you through the individual stages. And all of this will be available. I'm going to send you all of this documentation tomorrow, as well as our assessment options as well. So don't feel like you need to scribble down notes, try and draw it out, whatever it might be. All of this will be readily available and sent to you tomorrow. So you can just breeze through it in your spare time, essentially. But flowing from start to finish, it's actually a very logical course of training. And we layer the training up to build your capacity and also build your skills throughout the program as well. But first of all, let's fast forward, okay? Let's say, John, love the program. You come and meet us in East Midlands, you complete the assessment, you do the visa interview, you get your funding sorted, wherever it might be, and you get your medical, and you jump on your 747 or A380 or 777 from Heathrow and land at our facility in Merritt Island, Florida. I'm sure a lot of you on this call have been to Florida. I personally rocked up a week early, had a holiday, topped up my tan, went surfing. I'm an absolute astronaut and NASA nerd, so straight to the Kennedy Space Center to have a look through all the Apollo stuff and, you know, completely nerd out on that, as well as Universal Studios. I met up with the other students before we started the course as well, and we just rocked around, had a really good time before joining the program. It's one of the luxuries of training abroad. You get to train in one of the most beautiful locations in the world. We want you to have the best time of your life. And I promise you, if it's anything like me, you will have the best time of your life. Our facility, for those of you that know Merritt Island, maybe you don't, but it's also home of NASA, Kennedy Space Center, and also the NASA shuttle landing facility, one of the largest runways in the world there as well. So it's quite an impressive sight when you get up in the air around there. But our airport is essentially just south of NASA, literally right on the restricted airspace line. And this will allow you the opportunity to see plenty of this kind of stuff, plenty of rocket launches, SpaceX launches, a lot going on around there at the moment. And you might even have the very rare opportunity, but more possible opportunity when you're down there of actually flying and seeing a rocket launch all at the same time. So a completely unique facility there on the east coast of Florida. So to fly America, and again, I'm just going to fast forward you here. So you arrive in Florida, we're going to settle you into our accommodation. You'll also go to our pilot shop where we'll get you kitted out. It's important that all our students wear uniform from day one. Uniform is a big part of what we do. Airline pilots are the absolute best brand ambassadors in terms of any company. And for us, it's no different. We want you to look smart. We do have required wear that you must wear. Your shirts must be ironed. All those kind of basic grooming needs must be met. You're representing us at this stage, as well as really putting the right foot forward in terms of your training and also your airline career as well. We have very high grooming requirements within pretty much all airline jobs, to be honest with you, other than cargo. So yeah, very important that we get you into the grooming techniques early on. It's a big part of what we do. And we take pride in what we do as well, of course we do. So headsets, maps, whatever it might be that you need for the local area. We're going to set you in there at 2Fly Airborne in the East Coast. And we'll move you into your private accommodation as well. You get a nice big room. You'll get a nice big American style bed, lots of facilities. You may even get access to the local gym and swimming pool at the local hotel. We've got a really good relationship as well. So you can hang out around there on your spare days as well. But this accommodation is literally, you know, a 7 iron away from the actual airport itself. So fantastic location. And then we're going to settle you in to your foundation training. And this is really where it gets fun. All right, guys. So this is a little plot of the area around Florida. These are some of the regions that you will probably get a chance to actually fly to in terms of the structured hour building portion of your basic training. But first of all, we're going to get you started with your private pilot's license. It's about 45 hours as well as ground instruction as well. And about 6 weeks in total from start to finish with the ground instruction to actually get you finished on that course of training. So think about this, in terms of landing in America, going to Florida, within just 6 weeks, you can already possess a private pilot's license, the ability to fly a small aircraft solely by yourself. And this is something that I attained. I actually completed my PPO in just 4 weeks. Very, very quick, fantastic training. Lots of experience built at a very high level as well. As you can see there, that's a picture of the actual airport itself, the facility. It's a beautiful location right next to Cocoa Beach. You'll have the opportunity to fly over the ocean on both sides for both approaches to the runway. What's also important to note is the fact that it's an uncontrolled airfield as well. So instead of being stuck on the ground trying to get ATC clearance because there's loads of airliners coming in, whatever it might be, as soon as those propeller blades are turned, as soon as you've done your run up and your pre-flight checks, you can go fly, and most of your time is actually spent in the air training and not on the ground waiting to get airborne. Okay, so that's just a little side note to why this base is such an effective training base for 2Fly at the initial stages. Great. So once the PPO is done, you're going to be sent on your way to do some structured hour building. At the same time, we're also going to start you on what's called an instrument rating as well. And what you can see in front of you there is a Cessna 172. And all of our Cessnas are retrofitted with the glass cockpit setup. So it's also known as a G1000 or a Garmin 1000 setup. Now, if you've ever looked on your left-hand side as you get on an airliner to go on holiday, you may have noted that it's a very similar setup with the glass cockpits. Okay, you've got the digitalized screens. And that's the reason we train you on this product at this early on, is essentially to build your scan, to make you understand how the glass cockpit works relative to an airliner. So it really bridges that gap from foundation training into your professional career. Fantastic setup. You've got the PFD there, which is the primary flight display on the left-hand side, as well as the ND on the right-hand side, which is the navigation display, or your moving map, essentially, like a GPS. So a very smart system. We train you, all of your instrument rating will be done on this style system. And it's a fantastic course of training on the Cessnas there. The instrument rating, that's about 20 hours. And then the structured hour building will be just a little over 100 hours, what we call PIC time, which is pilot in command time. And that's required for you to actually get a commercial pilot's license, is to have that personal in command time. We also call it P1 time, okay? And it's to allow you to go all over Florida, build your experience, land in one of the over 130 different airports in the Florida region, okay? So yeah, really great time, really great place to really hone in those skills, get plenty of takeoffs and landings in as well. And yeah, there's no better location than Florida. Number one, the fuel is really, really cheap on the aircraft. And number two, There's no landing fees in any airports as well. Here in the UK, every time you touch the tarmac, touch a grass strip, there's a landing fee to be paid, okay? You don't get that in Florida. In fact, a lot of the times, if you actually land in one of these destinations and you top up fuel, they'll actually chuck you the keys to a rental car as well, so you can go and explore the local area. So fantastic location, completely different experience flying in the US. Now that's the flying portion done for this stage anyway, or this initial stage. So as you can already see there, we've got private pilot's license. That's what we call VFR flying, so learn how to fly visually. Then we're going to send you into the clouds with your instructor and learn how to fly the aircraft instrument rating, okay? And then you're also going to hone those skills with your 100 hours of PIC time in and around the Florida region as well, which is massive, by the way. So really great start to the program. And then we settle you in to our ATPL ground school. It's 6 months of theoretical study. It's over 650 hours of classroom instruction. We use instrumentation called Atpl. So that's all of your manuals, all of the questions, the practice questions, all the ATPL theory, everything will be on your iPad, as well as then obviously brought into the classroom as well for that 650 hours of classroom instruction. We give you 6 months to complete this, and you have to sit a total of 14 exams for this as well. And this essentially gives you all of the theoretical knowledge required in order to be an airline pilot. Okay, so it's really on point stuff. It's stuff that you want to learn because you know that you want to flex it later on in your career. So a very interesting part of the program. And I would recommend holding back perhaps some of those hour building hours just to keep yourself current during the ATPL ground school. So perhaps at weekends you can just go up for a flight or whatever it might be. So ATPL exams completed, fantastic. You walk away with your exam results. At the moment, we're working over a 90% pass rate on all of our exams, which is fantastic. And we have 3 full-time theoretical knowledge instructors as well. Really fantastic ground school in Merritt Island. Excuse me just 1 second, folks. Okay, so now we move you on to a very exciting part of the training, which is the jet orientation program. And this is also the part of the training where you'll get to fly an actual citation jet as well. So very, very exciting portion. First of all, we're going to put you in our 737 simulator. This is to give you a bit of background for the actual citation flight itself. So how to work in a team in the cockpit, the general call outs, the pilot flying role, as well as the pilot monitoring role as well. They're very separate roles in the cockpit. So we're going to give you all the basics, all the little nuts and bolts that you're required to actually fly a jet. And then we're going to put you in one of our private citation jets, whereby you're going to do 3 takeoffs and landings. You're going to do high altitude operations. You're going to do steep turns, whatever it might be. So amazing program. I don't know of any other professional pilot training program that actually allows you the opportunity to fly a real jet in training. The only other one that I know of is Emirates Flight Academy in the UAE, and that is only open to UAE nationals. So outside of that, globally, this is, as I know of, unless one of you on this call can actually educate me of it, the only course of training whereby you get to fly an actual jet. And trust me when I say this, when this is on your CV and you're going for that airline interview, it really allows you to stand out in terms of your application. So a real cherry on top of your stages in Merritt Island. It's a real reward for all of your hard work and dedication in terms of phase 1 training. And yeah, an absolutely superb opportunity. We do have videos of this citation jet flying actually sorties on YouTube as well as our website as well. So check that out when you get an opportunity. Right, and over 60 people on this call now, so really, really good. Phase 1 complete, okay, and just to summarize, it's 11 months in total. You get a private pilot's license, the instrument ratings, learn how to fly that aircraft in instrument conditions. We then send you away to build that experience, 100 hours of that. We're going to give you the 6 months worth of ground study, so all the theoretical knowledge required to actually be an airline pilot. Going to put you in our 737 sim, whereby you're going to learn all the foundation of jet flying. And then we're going to put you in our Cessna Citation 500 aircraft as well, to go and do 3 takeoffs and landings, high altitude operations, and a multitude of different maneuvers in that jet as well. So lots to do in 11 months, guys, but really good fun, and a fantastic portion of the training. Again, I'm going to fast forward you. So you've completed phase 1. Now you jump on the aircraft and join us in Malaga, Spain. You poor, poor people. You get to train in some of these beautiful locations, just like I did. And I truly, for those of you that have been to Malaga, you know where our actual school is in Vélez, Malaga, as well as Malaga Central. It's truly a gorgeous location. Excuse me 1 second. There we go. Lots of cheap food. The beaches are amazing. Everything is walking distance, pretty much. The streets are just absolutely marble lined, gorgeous, lots of good shopping. Actually, living in Malaga was one of my favorite parts of the whole program. I really enjoyed that Mediterranean lifestyle and got to do some flying and really enjoyed my time on this part of the program. But as I mentioned before, it has changed slightly. So our school originally was in Malaga Central, which was great. Don't get me wrong. We had a very nice facility. It catered for a lot of the Spanish students, Italian students coming in from the Instituto Nobile, as well as 2 Fly Pro Pilot students as well. The issue with that is we used to cater all of our flight training out of Malaga International Airport, and it was very, very hard to actually ramp up our operation there during the summer months because of the traffic, or the airline traffic, into that airport. So we've moved down the road a little bit. So about 40 nautical miles to the east, you find a little Spanish airport called Airport Axarquía, just north of Vélez, Malaga. And this is where we have our new €3 million facility built. It's actually just completed as of now. It's actually live. So those of you joining us at the end of this year or next year will go to this facility. And in there are student digs. They also do cabin crew training for Norwegian, all of the briefing rooms, the aircraft, everything is catered for in this facility. We also have Airbus A320 simulators in this facility as well. Cafes, restaurants, drinks, you name it, it's pretty much there. So to paint a picture, you wake up in your accommodation, you go into the facility, you meet your instructor, you pre-flight the flight for the day, you walk 3 minutes out of the facility onto the apron where your aircraft is parked. 10 minutes later, you've pre-flighted, you're in the air and you're flying. Truly unique. Amazing opportunity, fantastic facility. There's really not too much more I can say about it. It's truly an amazing opportunity for you guys, okay, and a fantastic way to finish your training. This is a general overview of that training facility. Okay, guys. So yeah, this is the facility at the moment. At the moment, what is built is the main facility you see in the middle there, as well as the apron. And then down the right is what's in construction or planning to be constructed at the moment. So you'll have all your student accommodation, swimming pools, tennis courts, whatever. Those aren't there at the moment. We have local apartments purchased and everything just to cater for that for the time being. But at the moment, the actual facility is on the right-hand side. So what you see in front of you is now phase 2 training. This is your advanced training. So you're really stepping it up now in terms of complexity. And most importantly is the commercial pilot's license. So we're really expecting you to be of a better standard now. It's taking you from private pilot stage or general aviation now to professional pilot. But also the CPL, the commercial pilot's license, is the most exciting one because it's the one that's going to allow you to earn money in the future as well. So when I first achieved that CPL, that commercial pilot's license, it was the one that I was most excited about because I knew one day I was going to earn money flying a plane. So a fantastic model. What you see there, we have various aircraft to fly on this course of training, and we actually fly complex aircraft on this course of training as well. So things with retractable gear, for example, and things like variable pitch props as well, which allows the aircraft to go a lot quicker. Here's a demonstration of the aircraft, of the airport. It's a beautiful location, just sunken into the valley around Granada, Almeria, Cordoba, and Malaga are the closest airports around that region. Truly fantastic, beautiful place to fly yet again. And then after the commercial pilot's license, we're going to move you on to the multi-engine instrument rating. Okay, and this is the really important license to have to be able to go to an airline. As I said before, in America, all of your instrument training is complete on glass cockpit. That does not change in terms of when you go to Malaga as well. This is a retrofitted aircraft with the Aspen avionics system now instead of the Garmin, but it's still the same setup. It's still a glass cockpit. You will still have a navigation display. You will still have a primary flight display as well. Okay, so as you can see, we're just layering it up now. We've got single engine aircraft flying in VFR. We've got single engine aircraft in instrument conditions. Now we're doing the multi-engine aircraft, so a more complex aircraft, retractable gear, 2 props to feather, whatever it might be, and then learning how to fly that aircraft in instrument conditions as well. Okay, so as I said before, it's a logical standpoint of how we lay your training all the way to this stage. And then to finish your training, we're going to put you into one of our brand new Airbus A320 simulators to do what's called a multi-crew cooperation course at the end of training. The multi-crew cooperation is a requirement now for all airlines, and this came into truth about 40 years ago now, where majority of airline incidents and accidents were actually pilot related, and it came down to how to operate the aircraft as a team, with synergy, whatever it might be. And that's why I mentioned before the uniqueness of the pilot flying to the pilot monitoring rules. So this multi-crew cooperation program, also known as an MCC course, can be done on any aircraft. We put you on an Airbus A320 because not only on this course will you have then the opportunity to fly a Boeing 737 sim, Cessna Citation Jet, but now also 20 hours on the Airbus A320 as well. Okay, so again, we're touching all elements here. We layer your abilities and your qualities on this program to give you the best opportunity of employment at the end of the program. Now, the other thing to note, and a very important thing to note as well, is even though you're flying in America, even though you're flying in Spain, you're going to walk away with a UK issued CPL, Commercial Pilot's License. And that EASA license, what it's known as, the umbrella, which is the European Aviation Safety Agency, the reason we can do that is because we're an authorized ATO for EASA, both in America as well as in Spain as well. So we have, we also get regulated on a yearly basis, and we have certification that we have to uphold in order to be able to license you with a UK license abroad. But essentially, we use their syllabus of training, their rules and regulations. Okay. Now, what's great for you is you walk away with the best license in the world, but at a fraction of the cost, because you get to train in locations where there's no VAT on pilot training, big saving. Also, fuel and accommodation and living expenses are very, very cheap as well. Okay, so that's really important to note. You don't walk away with a foreign license on this. It's a UK issued commercial pilot's license. Now, just as a little exciting update, our actual visa process has obviously been in lockdown due to COVID-19. We are excited to announce that as of July the 27th, the embassy is back open and our students are now getting visas, and our first class of students for the latter part of this year after COVID-19 are now starting in September this year. I'm not saying that could be you right now. That's a little bit tight on time. But we absolutely can get you into a course of training by the end of the year, and definitely by the start of next year as well. So that's a really nice little update at the end there. So just to summarize, phase 1, all your foundation training, the bulk of it done obviously in Merritt Island, Florida. And then phase 2, just 3 months, essentially finishing off your training with us in Velez, Malaga, Spain. Fantastic weather, layering those abilities up to the MCC program at the end. My takeaways, guys, here they come. And if there's 3 things that you remember from this webinar this evening, these are the 3 things that I want you to remember. Number 1, price. 40 months, accommodations all included. I'm going to come on to the fee schedule just in a second. Really, really fantastic value for money. It's one thing that really gave me the incentive to join a course of professional pilot training after my research. 2, with the way the weather is, with the amount of instructors that we have, the availability of aircraft, whatever it might be, we keep you on schedule, therefore within budget. It's 14 months total. we want you to complete it in the 14 months, if not a little bit sooner. Actually, it is possible. I actually completed my course in 13 months. So yeah, and these locations allow you to do that. Training here in the UK, unfortunately, does not allow you to do that. Training in some of Europe, around the, especially in the northern parts of Europe, unfortunately, you're going to get a lot of weather delays. Doesn't allow you to do that. It's not by chance we choose these locations to train pilots. And then the biggest one, Airline Ready, with the glass cockpit, with the Jet Foundation course, the 737, as well as the Jet Citation that you fly as well, and the MCC course at the end with the Airbus A320. You get hands-on with a lot of the equipment that you're potentially going to fly for a first job, as well as an actual go in a real jet as well. And there's nothing that can compare to flying a real jet. So those are 3 takeaways. Whew, that's it. That's the biggest chunk of this evening done, folks. Thank you all for being engaged for that. I hope it helped you. I hope it answered a lot of your questions. Again, I can see here a lot of questions being populated now. So thank you for those that are coming in with those questions. I will get to you at the end of this session. But let's talk about the real ugly stuff now, which is the funding of the training. And it's the one thing that a lot of people get stuck on. It's the one thing that held me back for at least a year, if not a year and a half, on going for professional pilot training, was the funding. And I'm not going to lie to you, folks, it's expensive. It's an expensive industry to get into. And it's really down to you to be able to fund your training. Now, at the start of this year, we are excited to announce that we have paired up with a professional educational finance company. They do very competitive interest rates on professional pilot training for us. What's a few fantastic things to note about this loan are the not only the interest rates, but the fact that they do a payment holiday over the course time as well. So no repayments during the program whatsoever. You also get up to 3 months at the end of the course to be able to go out and secure a job at the end as well. And what they're financing at the moment is about 50% of the program, or up to 50% of the program. Of course, it really depends on your credit rating, how well you do in our assessment, whether you've done university degrees before, whatever it might be. They build a profile of you as an individual. But also important to note with this loan, it's not just purely down to credit score. They have people of 18, 19 years old with no credit score go and secure loans for professional pilot training, okay? And this can be up to 50% of the course fee. So it can be just that little bit of money that sends you over the top to be able to do a course of professional pilot training. And that's something that we're finding as we progress through the year with these applications. So, other things to know about funding your training. As I mentioned before, we will try and help you as much as possible secure our loan, but it is down to you. Go to auntie, uncle, mum, dad, granny, grandpa, whoever it might be. Try to find as much self-funding as you can. It's what I did when I got into it. Excuse me. It's amazing what family, friends, your partners will do to help you in further your chances of a career in aviation. We've also had things like people sell land, sell assets, remortgage their properties, whatever it might be as well. So it might not be, let's say your loan application is denied with us. That might not be end of the road for you guys. When you actually start to research what's available to you, you may find that, yes, a remortgage of a property, mum, dad are happy to remortgage their property. Maybe they've got some land abroad, whatever it might be, to liquidate that asset might actually be better for you and more beneficial for you. So really start to do your research, okay? Not a lot of people have this sort of money just in the bank. If you do, you're very fortunate, and I welcome you to come to one of our assessments. But we tend to work with people that don't have that sort of money and need that help, and myself and Sheldon are here to help guide you as much as possible and give you the very best opportunity to secure yourself onto a course of professional pilot training. So how much does it cost, folks? The course price, inclusive of 14 months accommodation, is $103,000 US, okay? It's about 78 to 79,000 pounds, I believe, at the current exchange rate. But there is an exciting opportunity at the moment. We do have a very limited number of $10,000 scholarships to give away to you. These are no obligation, no deposit required initially, okay? But once you've completed our assessment, we do look for you to enroll onto a course of training with us. We offer you these $10,000 scholarships once after the formal assessment and after we've given you a formal offer letter for your scholarship. This obviously reduces the course fees from 103 to 93,000 US dollars, bringing the course price down to about 71,000 pounds at the current exchange rate, with 14 months accommodation included. Now, in front of you here is a price comparison with some of the other courses on the market. Just like to add, these are all fantastic courses of professional pilot training, but it's just done as a price comparison. Here's something to know. This is something a lot of people say as well. You really don't need to spend £100,000 on a course of professional pilot training when you can spend £71,000, 14 months accommodation included, and have the best time 14 months of your life so far. Okay, so that was the one thing that really swung me onto this course of training. I went to a lot of interviews for other schools and they were just too expensive. This made it a lot more manageable, especially with the accommodation included as well. So yeah, very competitive price at the moment. The precaution that we say with the scholarship at the moment is this is only available to those that want to start in 2020. So we want you to hop on that car. We want you to be eager. We want you to come and see us at East Midlands Airport for an assessment. And for those that are starting at the end of this year, they're flexing that discount down to a course fee of £71,000, $93,000. This is not something we will be able to run into 2021, unfortunately. So it is a promotion to try and influence or to try and help you really into a course of professional pilot training by the end of the year. A year that has truly been kind of decimated by COVID-19. We're doing our best to try and help you out, really succeed those dreams and try and help you as much as possible with that. So £71,000, 14 months included. And this is just a little USD to GBP comparison. And what we've seen already is a positive trend. This was actually, I actually just took a screenshot of this yesterday. So this is as of it was a 1 week selection. This is just the increase in 1 week. And we've seen a steady increase over the last month or so now. What that means is, and why that's relevant, is because we work on a fixed price of 103 or obviously 93 with the scholarship $1,000. The better that GBP price gets relative to the USD, the cheaper the course price gets. So we're hoping by the end of the year, the course price dips below £70,000, to be honest with you, which would then make it extremely competitive on the market, where so many other schools are marketing courses for over £100,000. So what are the next steps for you guys and girls? We do have some minimum entry requirements. So you must have a minimum of 5 GCSEs or equivalent, okay? Professional courses, all those sorts of things will be taken in consideration, as well as professional careers as well, okay? So don't worry if you don't have 5 GCSEs, it might be that your career has sort of shot over that anyway. You must be 18 years old by the course start date. You can actually sit the assessment as young as 16. Aviation language or English, so you've got to be proficient in it. We'll ask you to obtain a Class 1 medical before you start training with us, so it's not really something to worry about now, it's just something to think about in the future. We're obviously going to invite you to an assessment day at East Midlands International Airport with myself and Sheldon at the Cadet Assessment Centre. And you've got to really want to do it, guys. You've got to have that desire. This isn't a spoon feed course. This isn't like university. You've got to really want to self-motivate and complete the program, whatever it might be, okay? So that desire is super important. And let's have a little walkthrough of the cadet assessment. Again, what I'm also going to send you guys and girls tomorrow is a link to be able to download a lot of this literature. And those downloads, on there is the course overview, the fee schedule, also our latest cadet assessment study guide as well. If you want to be successful in the assessment, trust me when I say this, just study the study guide. Please study the study guide. It goes a long way into you being successful for the day. It covers a lot of the different aspects of the assessment and how not just to pass, but also truly succeed on the day as well. But we do use an independent company. They're called Symbiotics. We've been using them now for just a little over 5 or 6 years, I do believe. And what they allow us to do is basically assess you with a non-biased opinion or an independent opinion. And it is a fully comprehensive assessment as well. They do assessments for airlines worldwide. A few of them are on your screen there, as you can see. They do assessments for the military. They do assessments for other ATOs, so other authorized training organizations as well. So as you can imagine, they see a lot of different results. They have a huge database of people that do these assessments, and they are forever developing their program to give the very best results and information, not only to you guys, because you're securing your investment in your future, but also so we can uphold our quality on our program as well. So the cadet assessment, it's going to be a computer-based assessment sat with myself and Sheldon at East Midlands Airport. It's going to be carried out live online, and it's 4 stages in total. It's a personality questionnaire of 226 questions, aviation maths, a fast multitask test, as well as a one-to-one interview as well. Now, I apologize, folks, forget that price at the bottom of the screen. That is incorrect. I will send you the updated price as of tomorrow. Now, those assessments, let me walk you through them. At the end of it, you're going to get this report, but how do we get there? Number 1, the personality questionnaire. The human factor in terms of aviation is super important to us. We also have a very limited window and time to actually be able to get to know you as well. So the advanced personality questionnaire is a 300 multiple choice questionnaire designed to essentially personally profile you as an individual. And this is all of the left-hand side of this screen that you can see here. So the cultural fit, your confidence, your personality, and motivations as well. Aviation maths is 20 questions. You've got 30 minutes. It's all multiple choice. Yeah, there's going to be a mug too of different things in there. Okay. There's definitely going to be speed, distance, time calculations. You're going to have to do fuel burn calculations. There's going to be a little bit of Pythagoras in there as well. All of these are detailed in our study guide, full walkthroughs in our study guide, as well as all the theorems as well. So as I said before, study the study guide, you're going to really succeed in the test. Trust me when I say that, it really means well. That's your academic performance on the day. And then the fast test, which is the flight aptitude screening tool. And this is the opportunity to fly a virtual aircraft on the screen. And this is a multitasking part of the assessment, essentially. So on your left-hand side, using your fingers, you're going to be controlling the aircraft up and down. Have I got a picture of it in here? Oh, I do not, unfortunately. Okay. So you're going to be controlling the aircraft up and down the screen. On the right-hand side, you're going to be answering questions. Okay, I might have it on the previous slide actually. Here we go. On the right hand side, you see the computer down there, folks, on the right hand side. So yes, on the left, you're going to be moving the aircraft. On the right, you're going to be answering questions. In the middle, you'll see there the aircraft display or the cockpit. You're going to be looking for aircraft and you're going to be looking for waypoints. Those are the 2 buttons in the middle. And then over your headphones that you'll be wearing will be audio cues and people talking on radio and a bit of ATC chatter. So there's a lot going on. We're going to build you up. Okay, it's going to get harder and harder as the assessment goes on. And then at the end of that 7.5-minute assessment, we're going to get you to repeat it for a second time all over again. Okay, guys. So then we get to see how you improve from the first test to the second test as well. So we're learning about your personality. We're learning about your academic performances in terms of your maths, as well as the fast test. A lot of people love that part of the test. Again, I'm going to send you a video link to have a look at this tomorrow as well. We've got a recording of somebody doing it. And we're going to be able to see what your learning ability from attempt 1 to attempt 2 was as well. A lot of valuable information given from this assessment and really allows you to make a fantastic personal decision and your sponsors and your parents, whatever it might be in your future, as well as us as a flight school, either approving you or not onto a course of professional pilot training. Because, you know, it's important that we invest your money correctly. So it unlocks your financial guarantee, your formal offer letter, and we ask you to enroll with us within 30 days to start the visa process as well. So that's really what's next in terms of the cadet assessment. And these options is something that I'm going to email you tomorrow. So straight away, you're going to receive an email from me tomorrow morning inviting you onto particular days based out of our East Midlands International Airport Assessment Centre to come and see myself and Sheldon for that assessment. Also, something that I didn't touch on, which is to note, at the end of the fast test, we will be doing a short one-to-one interview with you. Again, just to really get to know you, get to know your personality, your motivations for the course of training, and also how, other aspects of you as a person as well. It's very important to us to get to know you. Graduate success. So it's not just me that was successful in this program, many before me and many after me as well. Some of these individuals I know. There's other individuals that I don't know. So a lad that I do know, Stefano Sidonio, you see in the middle there, the most confident 18-year-old Italian Scottish guy you'll ever meet in your life, done very, very well for himself and very happy to be flying for the regional airline, Loganair, that is actually a growing airline currently and employing pilots again, even during COVID-19. So yeah, he's very happy up there based out of Glasgow. Shuriq Ahmed, a guy that I also trained with me at Ryanair based out of Dublin. He is Irish, and the list goes on and on. Jet2, Ryanair, CityJet, Lee Glenister, another gentleman that I trained with, a very close friend of mine. Ishak Katak, interesting fellow, currently with Fly Dubai. I'm actually now moving into Emirates, lives in Dubai, drives a Lamborghini, has a fantastic lifestyle. And the list goes on. And the variety, as you can see, of airlines and different lifestyles and what people decide to do in terms of where they move to is very different as well. So with that professional pilot's license, you truly can go worldwide and you truly can do pretty much anything in life with that commercial pilot's license in terms of, do you want long haul? Do you want short haul? What airlines do you want to work for? Maybe there's an airline you've always dreamed of working for and you'll get with them straight away. Maybe it'll take you 3 to 4 years in a smaller airline to then get there, for example. Okay. So yeah, the variety is truly absolutely massive. So before we move on to Q&A, guys, let's just touch on number one, assessments. I'm going to be emailing you all tomorrow with your assessment options in terms of coming to see us at East Midlands International Airport. Remember, this is a 2-year plan from now. Don't get bogged down with the negativity online or what you see on the news in terms of COVID-19, the aviation industry. If you're looking at a course of professional pilot training now, maybe you start at the end of this year, maybe you start next year, whatever it might be. Maybe you don't start till the year after. What is happening now in the industry is not going to equate to you. Look at those industry experts. That's what we work off. Look at those interviews from the CEO of Delta, Wizz, Boeing as well included within that. Okay. Look at their forecasts, 2-year recovery. I can tell you right now, I'm back flying. Fantastic. I was on furlough for 3 months. No problem. Very happy to still be flying for a living. We're at 60% capacity right now, increasing to 80% next year, then 100% by the year after, we hope. So look at that 2-year plan. It's great that you're on this webinar now researching. You're actually at a perfect point in your career. You're early on, your early stages during this pandemic, because by the time you finish, we're looking at a full recovery. Number 2, this is the best course of training I've ever seen from 2Fly. 11 months in America, Atpl over there, over 90% pass rate on everything. You get to fly real jet. You get to fly 737. You get to fly an Airbus A320 as well in the simulators. This is the best course of training I've ever seen. And what does that mean? Super attractive for the airlines, for you guys, and on that CV. Okay. So yeah, that's a huge takeaway from this. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go into the questions now. There is also going to be a recording of this webinar sent to you, I believe, when I stop the broadcast this evening. If not, it will come to you tomorrow. Okay, so if there is anything that you want retouching on, you can absolutely use that and just go back through the slides as you wish. Okay, but let me get into the questions. Oh my God, there's so many. Okay, here we go. Here we go. 41 questions. I'm going to do probably 5 to 10, folks. And then I apologize to those that I haven't got to, but I'll do my absolute best at getting back to you as soon as I can. Okay, here we go. How do you manage mental fatigue after being in the cockpit for so long? So we can actually take controlled rest time. So it's up to 30 minutes nap time with the captain, if you so wish, in short haul operations. That's actually legal under EASA rule. We don't tend to really do that in short haul though, because it tends to be quite fixed pace. But the mental fatigue really tends to reduce as you get more experienced, because your capacity to be actually cope with those different things tends to increase in terms of when you get more experience. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. A good night's sleep. Sleep is everything in this. Making sure that you rest on your rest days. That's why we work a 5-4 roster. It's because the 5 days we're on, we're working really hard. But then it's truly important to rest on your 4 days. Okay, so that's really important. Are those salary figures in dollars? No, those were pound figures on that spreadsheet there. What the requirements needed if I already have flight experience? Gerardo, thank you for your question. Send me an email, Gerardo. Actually, let me just flick this PowerPoint into the next screen. Here are my contact details on the left-hand side. So please take a note of my mobile, also my email address as well, john@2flygroup.com. So if there's anything I don't answer, if there's anything that you think of tonight or tomorrow, darn, I didn't have an opportunity to actually put a question online, just drop me an email or a text message or a phone call, whatever it might be. I'm very good at getting back to people on that. Okay, so Gerardo, in terms of what requirements needed if I already have flight experience, we can actually do various discounts and credits and bits and bobs towards the course. So just drop me an email there, Gerardo, if you're still on the call in terms of that. Could you talk about visa requirements, especially post-Brexit for a UK citizen, if no? If known, that's the problem right now. We believe right now, the information from the US Embassy, nothing's going to change in terms of visa requirements. You will still be on an M1 training visa to go to the United States. And that is independent of whether we are in the EU or not, of which we're not. So don't worry about that. At the moment, Joel, the MCC is not an APS MCC, but we are currently in the works of actually getting approvals for that. So watch this space. It's something that our Spanish facility are working on right now. I would have thought by the time you start training got out, we'd absolutely have an APS MCC up and running. It's really the new norm in the industry. So no, not right now. We also have contacts with other MCC providers. So if you did specifically want to do an APS MCC, it's something that we could sort for you anyway. It's no issue there. Can you give us a rough week? So Kevin, thanks for your question, mate. Can you give us a rough weekly schedule of work? How often are you away from home? Evenings, on average, 5-day roster. Thanks for advance. Okay, Kev. So yeah, so this morning, for example, flew to Alicante. I was up at 4:30. I live about 40 minutes away from the airport. So left at 5 a.m., got to the airport, met the captain, met the crew. Everything's electronic now in terms of flight plans and fuel and all these sorts of things. So everything's done on the iPad, super brilliant. So we ordered our fuel, looked at the weather, looked at the NOTAMs for the day, went out to the aircraft, pre-flighted, flew to Alicante, 30-minute turnaround down there. Back home again. I was back home by about 1:30. Drove home, had some lunch with my girlfriend, and I've had the rest of the day off, and now I'm sat here doing a webinar for you guys. So it's been a long day, but I'm still going. And what you'll find is over a 5-day period, you'll do, all I can really tell you is about Ryanair and how it works, but we'll do early shifts for 5 days. You'll have 4 days off, then you'll do late shifts. Then you'll do 4 days off, then you'll go back onto early shifts, for example. But what I really like about Ryanair, is the fact that you have a home base and you're home every night. So it means that if you are a family man, if you do have a family to uphold, you want to stay in your home room or your own bed every night, this kind of lifestyle would be suited for you. Very easy to run a relatively normal family life with this sort of job, Kev. So thanks for that question. What options? So Josh here, what options do you have recommend for a rotary pilot to transition to civil airlines? Okay. What accreditation can be used to aid this transition? Yeah, there's actually quite a lot, especially your PIC time towards the commercial license that we can accredit over from a helicopter's license onto an airline's license. So I can see that you've put for clarity, a qualified military pilot with over 1,000 hours. Josh, drop me an email, because what I'll do is I can actually give you a full breakdown of the exact credits we can put towards your program. And then I can actually do a specific training proposal for you on the discounts towards our course of training, to make it as cheap as possible as well. I assume I don't know if you would have done as a military pilot, do you do your ATPLs and stuff like that? I can't remember. So yeah, let's have that conversation, Josh. Give me a call tomorrow, drop me an email tonight, and we'll hash that out and try and put together a specific proposal for you. So hopefully you're on the call. But yes, I'll do my best to do that. I'll just post a comment on here actually. Super. Right, I'm moving through these folks as good as I can. There's still quite a few people on this call. Good. Would the fear of heights and fast-paced action like roller coasters restrict you from becoming a professional pilot? Ali, probably, to be honest. I don't know. That's down to you, my friend. Maybe go and do a trial flight in a Cessna 172, because if you don't enjoy that, you're not going to enjoy flying jets. So go and get a taster flight for an hour and see how you get on, I would say. Does 2Fly provide airline placements? So yes and no. We have so how it works is right now there aren't really any schools that have complete airline contracts anymore. It's a bit of a myth. But yes, we do place people into airlines. We do have links with recruiters at airlines as well, who we email directly with your CVs and bits and bobs as well. So yeah, we'll absolutely guide you at the end of training and help you write your CVs and give you interview technique and things like that to place you with an airline the best we can. Okay. How much is the course? We said that it's about 71,000 at the moment, Moses, with the scholarship. Are we able to work on the visa in Florida to afford living expenses? Good question. No, you're not. An M1 training visa is a student visa, therefore you're not allowed to work over there. Trust me, Moses, on this course of training, you don't have time. We want to, you are a student, so it's important that you stay on it. Could you let us know the cost not included, pad pilot or additional flying hours? Additional flying hours will be down to you. What are we leasing aircraft for at the moment? I don't know. I'd have to get a breakdown for you, Joel. Question from Joel Allen. So yeah, this is obviously based on a minimum course of hours. We want to get guys and girls through on that. For whatever reason, if you're struggling in the area, of course, you can fly more hours, no problem, but it will be of additional cost. I can try and find those out for you. I think it's about $120, $130 for a single engine, for example, per hour for additional training. Okay, pad pilots included. Do you have to have previous knowledge in aviation? Absolutely none. Absolutely none whatsoever. Aaron Wilkins, hi there. Loving the seminar so far. Thank you, thank you. 30 years old, obtained a PPL in 2009. Okay. Last flew in 2012. Okay. Apart from already having about 40 hours P1 flying experience, would this give me any further advantages at the application stage? Being 30, how old can I expect to be once I land a job on the left-hand seat? Yeah, interesting one, Aaron. So definitely would love to, sit down and meet with you in East Midlands at some point to just discuss this. But we could probably, we'd still look for you to do the assessment process, but we'd definitely accredit you for the PPL, as well as the 40 hours towards your trading in the tune of about $10,000 to $11,000 in terms of a discount. In terms of finishing training, you're going to be 3 to 4 years as an FO and then have the opportunity in the short haul airline to become a captain. So Aaron, yeah, that's probably what you're looking at. Let's say you started training at 31, finished training at 32, got out. Yeah, by 36, 37, you could be a captain. And that's possible in a short haul airline. Again, Aaron, give me an email. My email should be still on the screen up there for you. Okay. It'd be good to meet you in East Midlands or something to discuss your options further, but we can absolutely help you with that, no problem. How much is the accommodation for the full-time period? It's all included in the course program, which is great. What happens if you don't pass 11 months? Do you stay in Florida for longer at additional cost, or perhaps study further in Malaga, or is your opportunity over? No, Joel, opportunity is definitely, it's never over, my friend, never over. No, so if you don't complete it in the 11 months, we do give you a little buffer in there. It's not that tight. But for whatever reason you don't, it'll just be another month's accommodation. Right now, I can't give you a figure because I don't know what that is, but I'm sure we can find out. But yeah, you just pay for another month's accommodation and stay on. No problem. That's it. Kevin, in 2 years' time, will this be CAA or EASA approved? The UK is going CAA as of Jan 2021. Is this correct? Yeah, I think so. We don't actually know at the moment. We're actually conferring with the UK CAA about this at the moment. I'm sure it's going to be sorted out. I'm not too worried. They're going to have thousands of ATOs all over the world with EASA approvals, with their licenses being issued in the UK. So they're going to have to sort out something. It'll probably go back to like a jar system like they've done before or something like that. But I'm pretty sure it's going to, it's probably going to be okay. So yeah, watch this space, but whatever it is, we'll adapt and we'll improve and we'll just go from there. Why are you able to get ATPL complete in 14 months much faster than others? To be honest, Joel, the ATPL 6 months tend to. I've done my ATPLs in 6 months. It's because it's full time. It's a lot of work over the 6 months. It's 5 classrooms a week. It's 650 hours of ground instruction. What else to know? We also ask you to do homework pretty much every night as well. So we have quite a strict course of training. But the theoretical knowledge instructors that you'll get in the course are really, really good as well. So, oh, sorry, I think I've just completely misread your question there. Why are you able to ATPL complete in 40 months? I apologize. I'm talking about the ATPL exams in 6 months. Location, Joel, mostly. Great weather. A lot of your flying on full-time course of training have to be done in VFR, visual flight rules. It's almost impossible to get it done here in the UK. I tried for a little bit. It just frustrated the hell out of me. So yeah, location one, amount of instructors, the amount of aircraft that we have in our fleet as well is very extensive, which means that you'll have readily available good weather, lots of instructors and lots of planes. That's why we can get you done in 14 months. Joel, again, lots of questions from Joel tonight. Thank you, Joel. They're really good questions as well, so I appreciate it. And all very relevant things. I'm going to probably answer another 5, folks, and then I apologize if I get to know more, but we have to end the evening at some stage, right? Okay, I just had it. Where was it? Assuming all training is delivered by native English speakers in both US and Spain, it is indeed. What's diversity like on the course? Very diverse, actually. We have UK students. Our America school does FAA training as well for Americans and South Americans. We have Italians, Indians, Costa Ricans, you name it, we pretty much have it on this course of training. But it's really cool. You get to meet people from all walks of life and different backgrounds. And yeah, a variety of different ages as well. You can have 40-year-olds on your course and you might be 18, it's crazy. It's really cool though. So you get to meet a lot of good people on the training program. It's one of the best reasons. It's one of the things that I enjoyed most about the program. Why do you not include UPRT? Sorry, it's something I didn't mention. We actually do. It's something that we're bringing into phase 2 training now. It's just not on this slideshow, so I apologize for not mentioning that. It is a mandatory requirement now to have UPRT. So we actually have the option. We're working on it in our Spanish base at the moment. But if not, we have got a relationship with a school here in the UK. It's a very short course of training for UPRT, and we can drop you into that as well. UPRT is upset and recovery training, essentially. That is now a requirement for a commercial pilot's license. So yeah, we've got you covered on that basis, Joel, at no additional cost. Paul Richardson, in terms of the loan, buddy, it really depends on your application, what you're eligible to lend as well. So this is something, come to East Midlands and come see us. Drop me an email about this as well, Paul Richardson. On the loan, we can give you access to the portal to be able to do some rough guide, but it's hard to know what your monthly repayments would be because it really depends on the amount, how much you want to loan it for, whatever it might be, for example. Okay, so it really depends. Do you have affiliations to help graduates get interviews? Yes, we do, Joel. Or any aftercare to help with CVs processed? Yes. Yeah, full aftercare, pretty much done by me. I help guys and girls on their CVs. I've had a lot of training in that area, as well as my contacts within a lot of Jet2, EasyJet, and Ryanair in the UK tend to be the ones. I've got relationships with all of the recruiters in these airlines as well, and I can send your CVs direct to them. So yes, we will do our very best to help you at the end of training. Trust me, we want you to get a job, and we want you to get a job because it makes us look good. Aviation industry notoriously unstable. It's current situation. Sure. Yeah, it is. But a lot of industries are when the world pandemic hits. What happens to a cadet's money and training if in 14 months something like COVID-19 happens again or the industry is hit again? Yeah, so money-wise, if you plan to drop out of training, we can refund you for the training that has not been completed. Likewise, you can just press the pause on it. So your money goes into an account. It is your personal student account. And yeah, for example, if COVID-19 hit again, some other crazy virus from a part of the world hits the world again, or whatever it might be, then we can just hold your money on account. And then when you're ready to start trading again, start trading. It's as simple as that. Don't panic. What plans have you got in place if a second lockdown has to happen? Is there any online element? Good question again, Joel. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict, obviously. I mean, we actually never stopped training in America because we were a required business because of the FAA licensing that we do in America. So if you're in America, we will try to continue flight training with you. But yes, things transition to online training, hence the use of Atpl. These are all elements that you can get access at home. You can do the training courses. We can do Zoom calls. We can do conferences. We can do Microsoft Teams. You name it. We've pretty much got it going already. So yes, Joel, good question. We do have elements in place that we use right now, and we can also roll out if a second lockdown kind of happens, you know. Aaron Wilkins, what about those of us who don't have well-off family or friends? I know, man. I feel your pain. That's why I guess us poor folks can keep on dreaming. No, I mean, I didn't come from a wealthy background. I had to scrounge around and sell cars and property and all sorts of things to do this training. So yeah, I understand. That's why we have Lendwise to try and help you as much as possible. And you know, really try to visit other areas of financing as well. But Aaron, yeah, I understand your frustrations. We're going to try and help you as much as possible. Yeah, aftercare again. Yeah, I just mentioned about the CVs, job hunting. We have all the aftercare in place, guys. So that's really good. One more question. That's what I'm going to do. I want to pick a good one. I'm just trying to find like a really, really good one. How old can you be to get a job? Isn't it 21? If you start 18, you'll finish before then, right? No, you can actually get a job before that, so that's okay. You just can't hold an ATPL, i.e. you can't become a full ATPL holder as a captain until you're 21. That is Harwich. Oh, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But yeah, so you can't become a captain until you're 21, which would be a scary thought, right? 21-year-old being a captain. So yeah, 18, finish the course at 19. Let's say it takes you 3-4 years to become a command. Yeah, you're well over that age anyway. Okay. So guys, I'm going to have to bring it to an end there. Thank you all for joining. My contact details are on the screen. Also, there'll be an email at the end of this, so please leave reviews, email me back, whatever it might be. My email's on there as well. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sending all of you details on assessments, study guides, where to download them from, and also my direct details as well. So you're going to hear a lot from me. But yeah, essentially, if you really want that scholarship, if you really want that $10,000, this promotion, we want you to start this year. Of course we do. And I'm sure you want to start this year as well. So really hope that you enjoyed the webinar and it was useful and you've got some really good takeaways to take from it. And my phone and email remains open to you guys and girls on here for any further questions beyond this as well. So thanks for joining. Enjoy your evenings and we'll see you next time.